right, so this man needs no introduction. He's a well-known figure in the information security space, Erick Dube. So I'll, without further ado, let him get on with the presentation.
Good afternoon, colleagues. I think my colleague Innocent has already introduced me. I don't need to introduce myself. I've since relocated from information security to command, control, and integrated systems, which is where I am now playing the flute from. And today I'm going to talk to you about a platform that we've developed at the CSIR. And okay, all right, that we have developed at CSIR, and it has several functionalities, this platform. My focus today will be on the collaboration aspect of this platform. Collaboration aspect. And collaboration, contextualized collaboration, not just collaboration, collaboration in a situational awareness environment. Why focus on situational awareness? Because we've seen, I think COVID taught us a lot of lessons, that sometimes you will not be able to access your building, but you still need to work, right? That's one. Two, you also need to work with other people. If you noticed how we managed to get the COVID vaccines rolled out so fast, these multinationals had to throw away the barriers of their silos so that they could come up with what? With a vaccine. Simple as that. And many aspects of what we do today do require us to collaborate and not to, oops, something happened. Sorry, we lost the, yeah. Oh, there is back, okay, thanks. So what am I going to talk to you about today is I will introduce to you CMORE. I think a lot of you in this room might know CMORE, but today I'm talking about CMORE in the collaboration space. And I'll give you a brief history and some success stories about CMORE. And then I'll show you how we facilitate collaboration at a very high level. I won't go into, too much into the technology itself. And then I'll show you some of the capabilities that are in CMORE in terms of enabling collaboration. There are a lot of capabilities in CMORE, but my focus today will be those that enable collaboration only. And then I will show you, of course, we don't exist alone. I think a lot of people always ask, is CMORE the only tool available for me to use? So I will show you a glimpse also of the market, what's there in the market in terms of other tools. Of course, I will only show you because ours is also always superior to those ones. And then I will also take you through our CMORE industrialization, what we envisage, what we're looking at to industrialize CMORE. So CMORE is a distributed, flexible collaboration and situational awareness ecosystem. So you look at the terminology, we have changed from it being an application. Now it's an ecosystem. It enables collaboration in a situational awareness environment. I think people from the defense understand situational awareness, and people not in the security space understand situational awareness, but I want to break it down to a level where everyone will understand it. So if you look at a typical environment where there's a road resurfacing, and it inconveniences you because they block you so that they can resurface the road. Now, 2 days later, they are cutting the same road because they want to put a pipe. The same road that was resurfaced yesterday, they are cutting a meter, width of a meter there so that they can put a cable. Now, why is that happening? There is no awareness amongst the parties that are operating on that road. So there's no mechanism of the Department of Transport to know that the Department of Water will be putting a pipe the following day on that road. But if they had a platform to collaboratively be aware of what's happening in that environment, they would plan the sequence in that the cutting comes first, the resurfacing comes last. You see. And most of our leakages happen because we do not have awareness of what's happening. And therefore, the ecosystem, that's why we call it an ecosystem, is not working for our benefit. It's working in the reverse order, actually. So CMORE provides you that environment where you can actually build a situational awareness that is talks to all departments so that they are able to see and plan according to the sequencing that is most efficient. All right. So it provides a collaboration platform for joint intra and interdepartmental. So within your department itself and with other departments. And I think the first question that I will be asked will be, I don't want the other department to know some of my information. How does CMORE protect that? We will see that later on. So as an integration, it allows not only for people working on the platform, it also allows for the integration of sensors. So it brings in the sensors. So you don't have to wait for someone to load information onto it. You can have the sensors loading information, and the sensors populate the platform for you, and then you can actually make a decision based on the information that you already have. Yeah. So I've already tried to describe situational awareness. I was told that I need to shorten this presentation. So if I skip on some important, what you think is important, please make me rewind. But what I want to talk to here is the use of the web. I think in the title you saw the word web. Why the web? Why the web? I think a lot of you are using a lot of applications and you don't know their dependency on the web. Such as a simple thing like WhatsApp. If the web was not there, you know that WhatsApp would not work. It wouldn't. So the reason why we want it to be on the web is for accessibility. It's easy to access, it's easy to deploy, and it's fast. Very fast. So you don't have to go and set up an environment. It will just sit on an existing World Wide Web environment, and immediately you have access to it. So if we look at the platform that we have, it allows you to access it from even your cell phone. Not only do you access it from your cell phone, just for viewing, you can also access it on your cell phone for issuing out command instructions. That's what the World Wide Web allows us to do. It allows us to connect and immediately execute the functions without having to go to an operation command center somewhere that is at a particular location. You are on your phone, you get the messages, you get the instructions, you execute, you issue out the instructions, they execute somewhere else on your phone. So the key is we've combined the web and the mobile technologies and also this platform, this ecosystem that enables you to provide an operational environment that is shared. It provides information sharing. Information is very critical, very critical. When we had the floods in KZN, CSIR was amongst the few entities that arrived there. And one of the things that we found was that information sharing was lacking. So you would find that there is an existing shelter in the books of someone, and the same shelter has a different name in someone else's book. And therefore, when we're counting shelters, we'll find that, okay, we had 200 and something shelters. But physically, maybe we had 100 and something. The reason was the information sharing was lacking. And this platform, had we managed to roll out that the platform like we did, I'll talk to COVID later on, in that space, we would have been sharing information in a way that allowed the authorities to execute their duties with minimal losses, you see. And of course, the last part is a lot of people want to talk to, if I have information on CMORE, and you are saying I'm sharing it with my neighbors, how sure am I that my neighbors don't see everything about me? They only see what I need them to see. in fact, it is designed within CMORE that the sharing is controlled securely. You only share what you want the next person to see. Everything that belongs to you and only you can see it. And even within your department, you will have ranks of saying, okay, only so and so can see this amount or less of this. Again, that is a configuration that you can actually roll out on CMORE. So CMORE allows you to do a quick data modeling, so it's dynamic data modeling. So you don't have one data model, right? So you can create your own, and we can configure it for you. So what have we done with CMORE so far? In the run-up to the World Cup, which was an event that is quite pinnacle, we used CMORE as a concept demonstrator of how the authorities could actually collaboratively respond to any event. So we used it as a concept demonstrator, and it allowed the authorities to go out and procure something that was, as you can see, the level of maturity of CMORE at that time was not so high. So we only used it to demonstrate the ability of a platform like this if used in an environment where authorities needed to share information. So you have ambulances, you have the police, you have the army, and all of them needed to share information. If they didn't share information, they would one day collide, you see. So they would respond to one event because it has been reported by different entities, and they would collide. So then we had the World Cup coming, and we used that as a concept demonstrator. And of course, we moved on to mature this. Once we saw the value as the CSIR, we significantly invested in it and had it as a flagship. And of course, once you can see the value, someone else sees the value. And the US also saw the value in CMORE, and they gave us a grant so that we could use this CMORE in the national parks, to roll it out in the national parks, because it's quite an expensive exercise. So over the 2 years, 2015 to 2017, we used a grant to roll it out. And from 2017, I think I saw someone from DFFE here, we started implementing this as a fully functional system in the national parks at Kruger. I think you heard my colleagues here speaking about Meerkat, the radar that they were using there. It's connected to this platform. The platform now provides the visuals. It provides the command and controls and the collaboration between various entities, the SAPs, the national parks, authorities, and so on and so forth. And of course, 2020, we had COVID, and it was an opportunity again for us to deploy a collaborative tool for data collection and also for mapping the disease spread. And I think at the top there, you will see our #1 citizen there. He actually visited us during that time to come and see how CMORE operates. So this has been the growth of CMORE and its application. All right. Okay. So how do we make sure that only entities that have loaded their data are the ones that see their data, even if it's in a collaborative environment? In a simple format, we will say the administrator creates the ground rules, the organization. So when we roll out CMORE into your space, not our administrator, your administrator becomes the one that rolls out the services that they want access to. And then once that is done, then the user members are your user members that you choose. If you choose, you are a department of, say, correctional services, see the department of correctional services here, and they want to share some information with SAPs for some reason or the other. This becomes their user member. All right? But they can choose, say, no, in this, I only want them to see geo features and the sensors. And that's it. All right? And that's how we lock this. But this person is able to execute their function from data collected by the other entity. See. So what are these typical sensors? 5 minutes. Okay, I'll finish. All right. So typically, you have a central node and a couple of nodes that are feeder nodes into the central node. And in each of these nodes, you have the capability of sensors bringing in data and also legacy systems. So you don't do away with your legacy systems. When we bring in CMORE, it doesn't disrupt your operations. It enables even better execution of your operation by bringing in your legacy systems. And then you have the viewer part. So in the viewer part, like I said, you have your mobile, you have your desktops, you have any other tools that already exist that you can use in the viewer part. You see. And then because of that configuration, you can see the upper layer, the middle layer there, has a web API, which means everything that comes, we have an application programming interface that allows it to connect. You bring a phone, we connect. You bring this device, we connect. And it allows for sharing. And of course, there's the data part. And then there's the security aspect, which is very critical. I think in the next diagram, I'll make it a whole block so that everybody knows that your layers are secure. All right. Now, in a typical deployment, this is what it looks like. Typical deployment. We have various, sorry, I keep on forgetting to put my mark on my thing. Yeah?
As close as possible because it's being recorded.
Sorry, yeah, my apologies. But I think because of time, I just want to point to the gateway. The gateway allows multiple sensors and devices that communicate using different protocols to be able to communicate. Now, the gateway sits within a CMORE. So that's why we are able to collect various sources of data and push into a CMORE environment, and then the CMORE gives you that visualization, the analytics, and also it allows the guy in the helicopter to talk to this guy here in the command center over the web. All right. It allows the drones there with their sensors, right, to be able to be detected and pass that information to one of these fellows here. You can see there are multiple layers there in the department, right? And these departments can also talk to each other through CMORE. These are just example departments, by the way, just for this slide. All right. I'll quickly go through this, but I think a lot of people would have seen this. So on my right extreme, 9 o'clock, is your input, where they are coming from, where they are then integrated, right? And on 12 o'clock is some intelligence there, all right, where we have a filter, all right? And critical to many people that are not aware, CMORE allows for geofencing. And geofencing has become a very important aspect. Imagine geofencing over the World Wide Web, not geofencing on a locked platform. So it allows you to see entities that are moving in or out of a particular zone, as long as they have the right sensors that side. And then it triggers alarms, necessary alarms, if you are living or you are entering a particular zone, which either you have no authority or you are authorized to. Right. And of course, we then have a lot of things that we can do with CMORE in a collaboration environment that allows you to get focused alerts, for instance. And of course, we need to reduce false alarms, because false alarms waste resources, right? And we need to manage incidents. We need to manage the incidents and, of course, provide a situational awareness. But since I've been told that I've got 5 minutes and I still have an important slide to take you through, I'm going to quickly run through some of our not so famous competitors. I think you don't know of them until today. Now, the first one is Hydra. It's a South African one, and it focuses on farming. We do have another one, I think it's called GC squared T, which is focused on the defense. I didn't put it here. All right. And then we have Esri. I think most of you would be aware, but they focus on geo-information systems. We have Gentech. They focus on urban security. We have CSIR, and they focus on situational awareness, threat sharing. And then we have RT Command Point. Okay, this is an American one. That's more towards the defense. But what I want to share with you today, if you didn't hear anything or didn't understand anything, the most important slide is this one. And I'll start from the right, going that way, because the summary is that side. Now, on the right-hand side is the big question: where is the money? Right? Where is the money? We have investigated and done a search, and we said within South Africa, there is a market for a platform like CMORE of no less than $500 million in the next 5 years. So the consumption of a platform like CMORE in South Africa in the next 5 years is 500 million. In the world, currently, it's sitting at 27.2 billion. And it's bound to grow. It's going to grow up to about, I think, 67 billion by 2030. And therefore, it means we should start putting our money somewhere in terms of investment. Where do we need to invest in CMORE? Currently, CMORE has the capability of taking 3,000 connections simultaneously at a maximum. 3,000 connections simultaneously. So when we rolled it out for COVID, remember it was in all provinces. Now, every province had approximately the order of about 10,000 cell phones with health workers collecting data. And at that point, we started to realize that no, scalability was an issue. So we need to invest into CMORE to move it from its current level, which you call it tier 2, 3,000 connections and less, to 100,000 connections simultaneously. And once we do that, we will start moving into this market here and that market there. All right. I think for the benefit of time, I will stop here and I'll wait for questions. Thank you.
No, thank you for the excellent presentation. I think we'll take questions.
Thank you very much, sir. I just want to ask something from the presenter. If you are saying this system, you first deployed it in 2010 during the World Cup, and when you deployed it there, it was a little bit successful. Then how would you, and you are saying you were the first one to respond to the KZN floods. How can you gauge or evaluate your success rate there, considering that we lost many people, and even the response now from government and all the other stakeholders is still questionable in that area? So how can you gauge the success of this system so that we can believe in it, that going forward, if an investment can be made into that system, then it's a system that's going to benefit the people of the Republic? Secondly, please, can you tell me why didn't you deploy this kind of system that could have connected all the stakeholders during the looting, particularly in KZN and in Gauteng? Thank you.
Thank you. Those are really good questions. Is there I hope you're thinking about your responses.
My question is more with regards to security and data security. Seeing as though this is a technology that makes use of wireless communications, how do you safeguard it from perhaps issues of hacking and jamming, in particular if you use it in a defense context? If obviously the first thing someone will try and do is to jam communications, and this system might be vulnerable to that.
Thank you very much for that. Is there a third question? I can take a third question. If there isn't, okay, so it's just a follow-up on that, Eric. Maybe you can touch on the use of the web as well in terms of security, because I do know that quite a number of people are uncomfortable about the web as the sort of platform.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you for the questions. They are all quite critical. I'll start with the first one in terms of how do we measure. Let me start with the World Cup. In the case of the World Cup, it was used as a concept demonstrator. Now, a concept demonstrator says, let's test the feasibility of a particular doctrine or operational philosophy. Now, we use that to test. And then a different tool was deployed. All right. Okay, so we didn't use it in the World Cup. We used it to allow the authorities to be able to measure what the best tool would look like. And we did a lot of trials and runs with the various authorities, SAPS, DOD, SSA, and everybody being involved, the ambulances, and so on and so on. Right. And then they could say, oh, okay, in that case, we then need a tool that can do the following. They could actually evaluate their responses. In fact, up to a response time, I think there was in the media a statement about how fast they could respond to any event. That's what they had used to measure how fast they could respond. Now, the second part is the KZN flooding. Yes, unfortunately, we did not deploy a CMORE before the floods. All right. So once you deploy after the floods, it's yeah, okay. No.
The horse is already bolted.
No, okay.
But I hope you're gonna get to the one about the looting.
I've been trying not to get to the one, but I can see the general is looking at me and saying, answer the looting, and I'm thinking, okay, how do I answer the looting? All right. No, anyway. We did do some data analytics using CMORE, but we did not capture the events as they were occurring because we had not rolled out CMORE at that point. Now, like I said, at the moment we have an issue around scalability. If we do fund CMORE to a point where we can actually have simultaneous connections of, say, 500,000, right? Then we can actually roll out CMORE nationally for any event. So it becomes a national asset that sits maybe in some national command center somewhere, where when an event occurs, they just switch on the data model for that type of event. Okay. Did I answer all of them? Can't remember. Oh, the security, sorry. The security around jamming.
Wi-Fi, and then also the web. Yeah.
Jamming, yes. In terms of security, we have actually a cyber and information security team that hardens our applications in the CSIR. So I don't want to answer on their behalf, but what they do when we develop a technology, we take it to them for them to do a security hardening. They can share with us, I think Dr. Brown Baba is here, he's going to share with us the way they harden our applications. But we do security, end-to-end security, be it encryption, end-to-end encryption, be it detection of potential threat in terms of trying to hack into our systems. All that is done at the Cybersecurity Center, and all our applications that we develop for this type of work have to go to the cybersecurity center for the cybersecurity center to harden them in terms of security.
Okay. No, thank you very much. I think if there's no other questions, then okay. All right. So we'll take one more question.
Thank you, Eric. Just a question. You spoke about industrialization.
Yes.
Just a question. I couldn't get it from the slide. Are you in an industrialization process for CMORE? How far are you? And if you are doing industrialization, is there then the intention to commercialize? Thanks.
Okay. Yes. I think one of the reasons why I'm presenting today is specifically for that, to showcase our plan towards industrialization of CMORE. We will definitely, it's already out there in the market, by the way. It has been used, but largely by government departments. For instance, DFFE use it quite significantly in a commercial format in terms of their operations. But like I said, at the moment, the deployment configurations are that we allow you to have access to it. We provide this as a software as a service at the moment. But we would like to expand beyond that point. And that's the commercialization part that's coming through.
Okay. Thank you very much. We can just give him a round of applause. Thank you so much, Eric.